Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome back. We're here for another week of Tuesday Night Live.
Yes.
And today's topic is 5 signs to know when to end a relationship.
Right.
And this is our 10th live. So we're just so excited
Yes.
to do this. Let's get pumped up. Juicy, juicy, juicy. So if you can hear us good, can you please click on the heart button?
Yes. And we want to encourage you guys throughout the live to just engage with us. Mm-hmm. If we say something that you connect with, that resonates in your spirit, give us some hearts or some likes, maybe some wows. I think Facebook has the wows, right?
Yeah, I don't even know how that works, but
I think so.
But
if you guys can hit those buttons, it'll be great. That way we know you are there with us and that you can hear us and that we're connecting with you guys. Okay?
Exactly. Awesome.
But for those who don't know us.
Yeah, my name is Marisol Credo.
And I'm Quan Grant.
And together we formed Mission Mindset. And it's basically a platform that we created to be able to empower people, like-minded people, about different ways to create the life that you want. And so that's why we come on every week, every Tuesday with a whole new topic. So we just thought that this topic was so awesome because a lot of times we have trouble with relationships, right? And we always think, like it's like 80, 90% of the time where it becomes an issue.
Right.
Whatever kind of relationship, whether it's business, friendship, personal, family.
Boyfriend, girlfriend. Yeah.
It's always something. Yeah. So we wanted to come up with 5 signs to know when it's time to
snip, snip, cut, cut.
Yeah, let that relationship die.
Yes. And we all have to do it at some point. So
we have some people coming in on Instagram here.
Yeah, we do.
What's up, everybody? Yes.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, welcome. Give us some hearts if you can hear us really good. We changed our little location.
Yeah, we did. It's just that hard.
Hard?
What, to cut people off, maybe?
Yeah, it is hard to cut people off.
Yes.
But we're going to tell you right now the 5 signs when it's time to do that.
Yes. Definitely necessary.
Welcome, Ronald. Miss Day.
Forgive us if we're squinting.
The Ponies. Music Land, yes.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
And hope you guys enjoyed this topic again. It's the 5 signs to know when to end a relationship.
Exactly.
And we're going to dive right into the list that we
compiled.
Yes, for you guys.
Yes.
And the first one
is one-sided.
Yes.
So, how many of you guys have been in a one-sided relationship?
Need to know how to divorce the things. I'll divorce the feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Need to know how to divorce the feelings. Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, it's Debony. Like Ebony with a D. Oh, I love that. I love that name. Debony.
Like Debony.
That's fierce. Yes, we always, that whole feeling, the feelings is always there after a while because you're like, okay, I'm over the person, but why do I still have physical feelings?
Exactly.
Or physical reaction when I'm around that person or if I see them or hear their name.
Right.
It's like the soul ties thing that we talked about.
Yeah.
Being so connected so deeply with someone.
Yeah, and that's natural.
Yeah, it's natural. But, over time, you just have to continuously move forward.
Yeah.
Until you're completely disconnected.
And healed.
And healed completely.
From that
and
person.
loving yourself more.
Right.
Because that's where it all comes down to. Yes. Yeah, so one-sidedness.
Yeah, you want to be mindful of these type of relationships.
Mm-hmm. So the first sign is if you're in a one-sided relationship, right? Where, this person or you, one or the other, is giving more than the other person.
Yeah.
And it just seems like they're taking.
Right.
Have you ever been in that kind of exchange where it just felt like you just feel completely depleted,
drained,
drained, energy is just gone.
Right.
No matter what you did, this person was just taken away from you.
Right. You want to be mindful of those people that are just taken and not adding to your life. You know
Exactly.
Because then you're left feeling exhausted, and you're giving out so much that you're kind of neglecting yourself, and then I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about this, about the energy vampires.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a similarity to that when people take away from you when you're in a weak state.
Right.
Because you're unable to really defend yourself. You don't have really good boundaries and you're not loving yourself fully.
Right.
So they kind of capitalize on that because they see opportunity to come in and be like, you know what? This is easy. Let me use this person.
Right.
Let me manipulate this person and get all the things that I want
Right.
from them because obviously she don't even care about herself or he doesn't care about himself, apparently.
Right.
So when you do start to fully, start loving yourself and caring for yourself, that's when they will no longer have that control over you.
That
so
power.
you will not see them anymore.
Absolutely. Watch out for the one-sided people.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
And what are some other things that you could think about with one-sidedness when it comes to relationships?
Yeah.
Because we oftentimes think of just, boyfriend, girlfriend relationships, but what about
Business,
friendship or business?
Business relationships.
Business relationships.
Yeah.
When you have a partner or someone that you're trying to create something with or build with,
Right.
and it seems like you're putting in all the hours and all the work.
All the work, right, and they're just using
And they're just capitalizing on reaping benefits and stuff. So even in those kind of situations, you kind of feel like,
this is not going to work.
it's not going to work.
It's not gonna work.
So that's the first sign to really, evaluate, is this
Exactly.
a relationship that's going to work?
Right.
Yes.
She said, y'all good.
Y'all good. Thank you. Hi, Cynthia.
Oh, Cynthia's
Thanks
watching?
for tuning in. Yes.
So, Cynthia. We're talking about the 5 signs to know when to end a relationship. I was going to say a good relationship, but that was stupid. A relationship, a toxic relationship. And the first one we're talking about is one-sided. Like if it's a one-sided relationship and you're giving, you just want to be mindful of that. Because sometimes we don't even realize that we're giving so much, you know what I mean? And that we're doing more than this other person in the relationship. You know what I mean? I feel like relationships should be like 50-50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It shouldn't be one person doing all the work. You know what I mean? And also when someone's one-sided, it's like they want to dump all their bad weight on you. You know what I mean? Drain you with conversation and complaining all the time.
Yes.
But then when you need them, they're nowhere to be found.
It's like crickets.
Right. She's like, I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yes, exactly. Debony says parental relationships where they judge you based on their own failed paths. So never truly connect with their child.
Wow.
Is or becoming. Exactly. We talked about that too, like the generational cycles.
Yeah.
And, with the parent, I never even thought about it.
That's so true, yeah.
Parental
I mean, you can't cut your parents off, but I think you can maybe start a conversation. You know what I mean? And how do you feel about that? You can't.
I mean, people could cut off whoever they want to cut off.
This is
but
true.
they always say honor thy mother and father.
Right.
And you can honor someone, you don't have to be in their presence.
Right, you can still love them, from a distance too.
Yeah.
You want to make sure people are respecting you and who you are as a person. You know what I mean? And no matter who that person is, because this is for our well-being. Yes. You know what I mean? So no matter who that person is, we want to make sure they're treating us the way we want to be treated. Exactly. You know what I mean?
And that goes for our family members too.
And people hate to talk about that, but it's true. Like family, is included in this too. And sometimes family members are the worst ones because they think they can, say and do whatever they want. I was just talking about this with a coworker, and they just think, okay, if she's going to be there, she'll forgive me. You know what I mean? And that's not always right because then now they're walking all over you and they're using you. And, that's not acceptable, no matter who it's from, whether it's an aunt, uncle, brother, or sister. We all deserve respect, especially if we're given it, And
you want to kind of stop, the generational cycles and curses and stuff over families. because it just continues to go down, down the generations. And you're like, well, I don't really want my mom to talk to me like this, or my father or grandmother or someone like that.
Yeah.
To mistreat me and abuse me or manipulate me, because it's something that they learned from their mom and their dad, and it just continues. And they think that's the proper way to communicate with their children, or and it's not. At some point, we got to stop and start honoring ourselves enough and loving ourselves enough to take a stand and say, no, this isn't acceptable, this isn't right, and I'm not gonna stand for it anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's like the toughest. A parent in child relationship can be the toughest sometimes, because sometimes we don't know when is the right time to like say, hey, this is how I want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's a necessary conversation that I think we all have to have at some point. And sometimes it's a scary conversation because we don't know how they're going to react. We all have different type of parents, and some parents aren't really, open to risk. Some parents, a lot of parents are stuck in their ways. It's just like, this is how like we were saying, how I was raised, and this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
But as a grown up and as a child, I think we all have a responsibility to kind of speak our truth, you know what I mean? And say, like, look, this is not right. It's going to stop here. Yeah. Yeah.
Set those boundaries. Don't be afraid to do that.
Right.
I had that issue with a family member myself, and this was someone who raised me. Yeah. And I had come to a point where I knew this wasn't right, the way that this person was talking to me. And I was like, okay, it doesn't make me feel good.
Right.
Like, why does this not feel so good?
Yeah.
And it came to a point where I had to have a conversation with this person and let them know, like, I'm not going to take this from you anymore. Yeah. And if you want to speak with me, then I hope that you'll respect me.
Right.
If not, then I won't be answering your phone calls anymore. Because it just had to come to that.
Yeah.
I wish I could invite people to this. Great. Yes, invite as many people as you can. Share this.
Right, because we're going to keep it posted, so.
Yeah, it'll be up for the 24 hours.
Right.
And we will be sharing it to our YouTube channel as well, with all of our other lives.
Yep. So you can always rewatch it.
Yes.
I'm glad whoever that was brought up about the parent.
Devaney?
Was it Devaney?
Yes.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a tough one, you know what I mean? But I think that was an important one. That was a good point.
Yeah, definitely a good point. Yeah. So that is the first sign to know when to end a relationship, is the one-sidedness. Yeah. Really being aware of that one-sided behavior and the energy vampires, and don't deplete yourself. Yeah. Don't give more than you need to give if it's not an exchange, because that does not make you feel good.
Right. I think in doing these things and acknowledging or being aware of these signs sets you up to be respected. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, these are my boundaries. This is what I will tolerate. This is what I will not tolerate. You know what I mean? So you're like kind of setting up that respect for yourself. You know what I mean? And sometimes, it's tough, but we have to do this, or people, like I said earlier, will just walk all over us. Yes. So I pray that these kind of help you, because I had to do this at some point in relationships. You know what I mean? And it works, and it's tough sometimes. It is tough, because you just want to love and just be nice to everybody sometimes, but it's like,
some people take that for granted.
Yeah, they do. They use it against you.
So number 2. You don't share the same values.
Yeah.
So that's another sign when it's time to end a relationship, because it's okay to not have the same exact values system as someone else. And you can still work with them and do certain things with them.
Right.
But as far as anything that you're trying to grow and to nurture and cultivate over a matter of time, it is very important to have similar values. Yeah. Because if you don't, it's just going to be the same thing. And disrespect and all that stuff. Because they don't value the same things you do, so you're constantly in this struggle of trying to balance it out.
Right.
So we wrote down, some different things about not sharing the same values.
Right. Different type of values.
Yeah, like your character.
Yeah, integrity.
Loyalty. So those are some things that you may value and the other person may not value that. So, I don't know, there's an example.
It's good to know what you do value. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you'll know if somebody does something and you don't like, and you're like, why didn't I like that? Why did that bother me?
Right.
Because it's something that you value.
Right.
It's something that you care about and you're passionate about. And maybe at that moment you just didn't know that that was one of your values, and they just kind of walked over it because, you just didn't know at that point.
Right.
So now you're aware of it. Next time you know.
This person is not loyal. You know what I mean? If that's something you value, then it's just like,
And they don't value loyalty, and be like, I don't know if we can continue with this relationship.
Exactly. So,
or family. They don't care too much about their family, but you care about your family.
Right.
And you want to see them every single day, but then they're like, why do you care about your family so much?
Exactly.
You know, or...
You always go over your mom's house.
You always go over your mom's house. Excuse me, guys. As you all know, I'm getting over the flu and stuff, so bear with me. Yeah. I'm no longer contagious, I hope. So yeah, you don't share the same values. So if you're an honest person, you're open, and you're talking to someone, and they don't believe in honesty, they don't value honesty, they're just like whatever, they just keep lying. And you're like, well, how is this gonna work if I'm being honest and you just continuously lie? And I value the fact that someone can be open and honest with you.
Right. Or even your spirituality. You know what I mean? Talking down on your faith and disrespecting you, or questioning your faith, or judging you for your faith. You know what I mean? Those are maybe some signs like, okay, look, you don't value what I value. I don't know, this may not work.
Yeah.
Those are red flags.
Yeah. And that's only if someone doesn't, they're not really trying to work with you.
Right, because you don't have to have the same religious values. We're all different, but I think there got to be some type of...
similarity.
Yeah, similarity, something. Like a mutual respect. You know what I mean? Because I remember there was one family member that I had, and he would always try to kind of push his religion on me. You know what I mean? I'm a Christian, a secure Christian. I'm solid with my faith and my belief. Me and Jesus are like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he would try to, push his religion on me. And it's like, stop. So when I told him, like, look, don't send me this anymore. It's different if I'm just out here lost and I'm trying to find my way.
Yeah.
But I'm secure in my religion. I don't need you to keep telling me I need to do this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Because this is the right way. So he couldn't respect that. Respect. I don't want to sound like Birdman. So he kind of cut me off, and he didn't even want to talk to me anymore. So it's just like, hey. Yeah. But I couldn't allow him to keep doing that, because it was just like, what are you doing? Respect me. You know what I mean? I'm an okay Christian. I'm good with one.
Yeah. So that's another sign too, with the value system. Yeah. So people have different spiritualities, different beliefs.
Yeah, which is all good.
And you just have to respect each other.
Exactly.
So let's move on to number 3. The third sign to know when to end a relationship is when you are in a relationship with someone who is very envious and jealous.
Yeah.
And
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, not even a tough one, but that's a dangerous one.
Yeah, that is a dangerous one, because sometimes you don't know. You don't know when someone is jealous or envious of you. Yeah. Because sometimes people play it off really well.
Right.
And that's so scary too.
Exactly.
Because they'll be smiling in your face and plotting behind your back.
Exactly.
And, always thinking bad things or wishing bad things on you, or they don't really have your back.
Right.
They tend to have your back.
Exactly. And jealous people will try to manipulate you and try to control you. You know what I mean? And if they can't control you, they would try to change the way people see you and view you. You know what I mean? And one thing I notice, if you have someone in your life that's constantly talking about everyone else to you, 9 times out of 10, they're probably talking about you to someone else. And you want to watch out for people like that.
Exactly.
That's always negative, always got something bad to say. Yeah, gotta watch out for the snakes.
The snakes in the grass, as my mom said.
Right.
Snakes in the grass. Watch out for those snakes in the grass.
Seriously.
No, but it's so true. That's let's say if you're in a relationship, right? I was in a relationship before with someone, and I felt like it was like a competition in this relationship, and I was like, okay, like this is so weird. Like everything I did, he would like try to one up me, and I'm like, okay, why is he doing this? You know, I get this car, he gets a different, like figuring out what kind of car he could get that's better than mine, or if I got this job, he wanted to get a job that was better than mine, and it was so weird. But in those situations, it's like, why is that necessary to happen? Like, if you think in like a couple relationship, like, why would your mate be jealous of you, or why would they want to compete with you?
Yeah, that's why.
You know, it's kind of weird, but it just tells what that person, how they are thinking, and what state that they're in. Yeah, how they see themselves. Yeah. So sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with us.
Right.
But that's important. Like, how are you gonna continue to cultivate a relationship with this person if they're constantly like competing with you and jealous of you? It's like, it's not gonna work.
Nah. Yeah, that's a dangerous position to be in. Mm-hmm. You know, and like you said, sometimes they play it off so well you don't even know. Yeah. You know what I mean? That they are actually envious and jealous of you. Because I know there was people like that in my life, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, there's no reason to be jealous over me. Like, you just never know. Mm-hmm. Some people could just be envious of your happiness, or the fact that you get along with people, or whatever. You know, people will find anything to be jealous over. Jealous over you within, I don't know. That's a thing. That's just something you gotta kind of know within yourself and like look out for.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a sneaky one.
Yeah, be careful of that. Like Quan said, they try to control you and manipulate you.
Yeah.
So sometimes these people try to change the way you view yourself.
Yeah.
And how you see the world and everything. And they'll tell you all these things like, oh, no, maybe you shouldn't wear that, or maybe you shouldn't go to that event.
Yep.
Or, you know, this might happen. Like, you just wait on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have an idea and you want to act on the idea, they might talk you out of the idea.
Exactly.
Just so you won't do it.
Right. Or because it's something they want to do, but they're too fearful to do it. And like, they don't want you to do it because, I don't know, they really want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have the courage to do it. Yeah, that's...
So this is different things like that. Just look out for those kind of friendships and relationships with people, because they are dangerous.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you do not want to be in a situation where someone has just played you.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden they just show their face at the end, because it could be very hurtful.
True. Did you guys want to say anything?
You want to say anything?
Did you guys? Because I'm sure like someone been there before. We're not the only ones who had, you know, issues with people in relationships and had to cut people off. I'm sure you guys have some stories as well. So feel free to chime in at any point and let us know.
Definitely.
How you had to end maybe a relationship or something.
Yes. All right, so number 4. The 4th sign to know when to end a relationship is when you're not being respected.
That's a huge
your boundaries.
Yeah. That's a huge one.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure we both have stories about that, not being respected. When someone doesn't respect you, it's like, it doesn't feel good.
Right.
And you just feel like they just walking over you. Like, they don't even care. Like, you're just nothing. Yeah. Like, you mean nothing. Like, you're worthless.
Try to belittle you.
Mm-hmm. Belittle you. Yeah, all those things. It's like, you set up, like, let's say if you set up some boundaries for yourself, you're like, I really don't touch me. Mm-hmm. Or I don't like to be touched. Or don't kiss me. Like, if you're in a relationship and you're just like, I don't want to kiss at all. And then this person constantly is like grabbing you and trying to kiss you. You just feel like, well, I just told you not to do that. Right. And you know, and that's like not respecting you. Right. It's like of your boundaries. Stacy says, of course, just hate to burn bridges. Ouch.
Yeah, that's a tough one, because you kind of hold on to people because you kind of feel like you need them, or you might need them at some point. But for your well-being, I had to learn that too, Stacey. Like, for real. Like, I used to say the same thing. Like, I don't want to burn bridges. This person's a good connection. It could be a business connection, or they know people that know people. It's just like you want to hold on to them to see what you can get out of them. Mm-hmm. But for your own well-being, what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, at the end of the day, do you really want to be connected to those people?
Exactly.
Especially even if they have resources or something.
Right.
It's like, we don't have the same values.
Right.
You're disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
You do certain things that I just don't agree with.
Right.
Do I really want to be connected with you? Do I really want my name stamped with next to your name?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I look at that for the long run, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I can burn this bridge, it's fine, because I don't want to do business with you. I don't want a friendship with you. We just be cordial, and if we see each other in public, hello, that's,
keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, you want to keep the peace. You want to do everything in love when you cut people off.
Yeah.
But you don't want to hold on to unhealthy relationships. At the end of the day, I feel like whatever is for me is going to happen. It's going to be for me. Like, it's not based on a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just feel like God would like open up that door, or bless me with another connection. I don't have to hold on to someone who's like toxic like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not worth it. Because even if the connections are good, you don't want to have bad energy, bad vibes. You don't want someone hurting you, walking over you. You don't want to be mad all the time, and it's that type of energy is not worth carrying. You know what I mean? I'd rather just dead the whole thing and just move on.
That's so true.
Word.
Definitely, like, it's over. It's like whatever. Like Quan says, whatever God has for you, He has for you, and He's not gonna send somebody like that,
right?
That you can't really be connected with, and you have to have your guards up, and what's gonna happen
exactly
because of experience.
Or let me compromise.
Yeah.
Just so like I won't upset this person or lose this person.
Yeah.
Like, no, if you can't be yourself all the time, it's not worth it.
Not worth it at all.
Burn that bridge.
Yeah, burn it to the ground.
So good.
So yeah. So you want to be respected in your relationships. You want them to respect your boundaries, and anybody who loves you will do that.
Yeah. That's true. You don't want people walking over you or taking you for granted or making light of things that you stand for. You know what I mean? If they're important to you, if this person is a true friend, or if they really love you, they'll respect it and honor them. If they don't honor who you are, your boundaries, your core values, then it's just like, do you really want this type of person in your life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What are you gaining from that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to lose in relationships. You only want to gain something great.
Friendships and relationships should add to you.
Yeah.
Not subtract and take away from you and leave you feeling hopeless and lifeless. Those aren't good signs.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
So that was number 4. That was a big one.
Yes.
Respect and respecting your boundaries.
Right.
So the 5th sign to know when to end a relationship is when someone's being abusive.
Somebody knocking you upside your head, like, that should be number 1 on the list. Get out.
Get out.
And that's just physical abuse.
That's physical.
There's different types of abuse.
Yeah, we wrote them all down here. So some abuses that, sometimes we don't even think about, that is abuse.
Yeah.
And so we wrote down physical abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse, and cultural abuse. But the big one, we want to talk about, we're going to go through all of them, but it's really important, like with the physical abuse. So if anyone's hurting you in any type of physical way,
that's not love.
Or emotionally, that is not love. Love does not hurt. Love doesn't do that.
No.
Give you black eyes and put you in the hospital.
Right.
And the verbal abuse, talking to you in a very vicious way, saying demeaning things. That's not love.
It's not.
And that's not healthy.
Not at all.
And sometimes, if you grow up in a household like that where there's abuse prevalent all the time, you think that's normal. You think that's okay, this is what I've known my whole life.
Right.
So you go through your adulthood thinking like, oh, this is normal to me.
Right.
Even though you know like this isn't right because of what society tells you, but still for you it feels normal.
Right. And
you just continue to
this is what daddy did to mommy, and mommy stayed, and they're still married. No. It's not normal. It's not healthy.
No. And I like what you were talking about when we talked about the financial abuse. When you were telling me earlier about, people who...
They try to control you.
Yeah, control you with the finances. Or, or people who have...
Right, and they try to use that to, what's the word? To, I guess, control you. You know what I mean? Like, because they make more money, maybe they feel like they can treat you like this, or you're supposed to do this for them because, you know, they have one up on you, and oh, she's not gonna go anywhere, he's not gonna go anywhere because I got all this money, and you know what I mean? Like, they're so attached to the bags and the shoes or something, and they just try to use that power against you to kind of, like I said, control you, and that's not good at all. You want to be mindful of people like that. You know, people think physical abuse or verbal abuse, but financial abuse is
another way.
Yeah.
Another tactic that people use to control
that you might go over your head if you're not careful, if you're not paying attention to that. Hi, Dana.
Here on Facebook, Daniel says, why do people that know other treat them any kind of way that they still hold on to them? Even when you give them true advice, it is because they feel insecure about themselves.
I agree. I think that's what it is.
It is. It is. Yeah. Definitely. A lot of times people do feel less than, and they feel like when someone treats them that way, that's normal, that's the appropriate way, because that's how much they feel about themselves. Yeah. That's how much they feel they're worth. Right. So if you say that about me, well, I kind of agree with you. Right. You say something demeaning or less than, you agree with it because you're like, yeah, you're right, because that's how I feel about myself. Right. So you tend to stay in those relationships. Right, and we're like magnets, you know what I mean? You hurt people, they hurt people. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just, that's obviously how they feel about themselves. And if you accept it, then obviously that's how you feel about yourself as well. You know what I mean? So you guys are just like two hurt people in a relationship that don't love themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you can't help each other. Like exactly. You can't help each other. You're not healing each other, just making matters worse. And it is, I think, a huge insecurity thing if you could say and tolerate stuff like that. Because when you truly love yourself and you know your worth, you're not going to allow people to treat you like that. Exactly. No. And it's tough. Like, it's not easy to get out of these relationships. We're not saying it's easy. You know what I mean? It's definitely tough, but these are signs that you want to pay attention to and know that this is not healthy. This is not how the type of relationship that God intended for you to have. And like we were saying earlier, whether it's business, whether it's family, whether it's a personal relationship, whatever type of relationship you're in, you do not, you want to be mindful of these things because this is not healthy. Yeah. You know, you're worth so much more than that. You deserve, all of us deserve to be respected, loved, honored, and, you know, and we want to make sure we're treating people the way we want to be treated as well. You know, it's a two-way thing. You feel me? Yes. And you should definitely read this scripture. This scripture. It's very powerful here. And it kind of sums up everything that we're talking about. Right. And it's coming from 1 Corinthians 15 and 33. It says, don't be fooled by those who say such things, for bad company corrupts good character. Yeah. So that's why it's important to have, like, to be mindful of who you're connected to. Yeah. Mindful of that. Yeah. Hi, Shasha. And having good relationships with people. And we were discussing this before. Like, a lot of times these relationships, if they're toxic and stuff like that, it really pulls you away from your calling, pulls you away from who you are meant to be and who you're trying to develop into. Because sometimes it just pulls you back because you're not really thinking clear. Your energy is being depleted in one-sided relationships. People don't share your values. This all takes your energy away, and it's not really filling you with anything good. Yeah. It's just taking away. Yeah. So, anything that goes against who God is calling you to be and who you know you want to be, those are signs to just let it go. Exactly. It's not worth it at the end of the day. It's not. There's so many people in this world and so many relationships and people that you're going to meet that you don't have to get hung up on one relationship or two relationships. Like, sometimes it's good to just let people go. And like you said, let them go with love and pray for them and say, you know what, it's all good. And we do it just to say we have someone.
You know what I mean? But I think sometimes we have to get in a space where we can really love ourselves and allow God to heal us of any brokenness or any wounded neediness so he can send the right people. Because once we're healed and we're loving ourselves, then we'll attract that type of energy. Like I was saying earlier, we're magnets. You know what I mean? I believe, it's okay to be by yourself. You don't have to have a boyfriend. You don't have to have a girlfriend. You don't have to have friends around you all the time. Love yourself. Learn what makes you happy. Get into that space. Get in tune with who you are. What God is asking of you, or what it is that makes you happy. And I've been having this conversation a lot with people because I realize some people don't know what makes them happy.
Yeah.
When you're wrapped up and you're insecure and you're used to all this type of negative relationships and toxic relationships, you kind of lose yourself. So I think it's important to just get in tune with yourself. It's okay. Yes. It's okay. And at the right time, the right people are going to come along. God didn't create us here to be lonely, to be walking around by ourselves, but sometimes he needs our attention and our focus to heal us, to build us, so we can be better people and we can give a little better energy to those around us, right?
That's so true. That's so good.
Word.
Yeah, so
that's
for
LG.
those...
What's up, LG?
For those who just tuned in, we're going over the 5 signs to know when to end a relationship. We started off with one-sidedness. So if you are in a relationship that's one-sided, where you're giving all, or they're, whatever. You could be the person on the other end that's taking. So you're not always the person who's the giver. Right. So some of you guys could be the takers.
Yep.
And the second one was you don't share similar values. You don't have the same values. Number 3 is a person who's envious or jealous. Snakes in the grass we talked about.
Throwing rocks, hiding your hand. Gotta watch out for them.
Yeah. And number 4, they don't respect you or your boundaries. And number 5, we talked about abusive relationships, physical,
that was a good one.
Verbal, financial.
Yeah.
Oh, and the financial piece, I remember you were talking about, let's say I'm thinking in a relationship when, let's say it was a female, and how some guys will tend to use a female for, for money or something like that,
right.
Or vice versa. The males we use the what? Did I mixed it up. The female, the male use the female, and the female use the male. Yeah. Yeah. And in that sense, where they kind of use money as a way of controlling the relationship.
Yeah.
So those were the points that we made for the 5 signs to know when to end a relationship. And like Quan said, these are just signs to look out for and to really just think about and evaluate all of your relationships, whether they're boyfriend and girlfriend, or a friendship, or a business partner that you've been working with, co-workers, family. Any of those. It's just a way to evaluate those relationships.
Right.
Yes, Stacy. She said, keep it going, Marisol.
She said, amen, preach, brother.
Yes.
Just trying to spit some knowledge from what I've been through, through experience.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And these are all things that, relationships are important. It can make you or break you.
And I like the scripture that says, for bad company corrupts good character. That's a good point. You are the company you keep. You know what I mean? If you're around people robbing banks and stuff and the police pull you guys over, guess what? You're all going to jail.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so you just want to be mindful. If you're hanging around a bunch of negative people are going to assume that you're a negative person just because of the company you keep. So you want to have like-minded people that you're connected to.
I like the gospel. I'm getting over the flu, guys. And Quan's over here what's going on? I try to tell my kids that. My sissy says I try to tell my kids that.
What's that?
About the company you keep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially in school.
Yeah. Yep. the way the kids.
Because they just lump you kind of all together, you know.
And that's true in business as well. Like, let's say
Yeah.
you're trying to get like someone you want to work with or collaborate with, you know,
Right.
for a song, or you know, if you're a musician or a songwriter or something like that. You don't want to like work with them if you don't know like who they are, you
Right.
know.
Or if they're always giving people trouble in the studio
Yeah.
or in the workplace.
So just like you
They're not
gotta
gonna
look
work
up
with you.
references of different people when you
Yeah.
want to, you know, have someone like
Right.
hire someone. It's the
Right.
same thing. You have to do that with artists and other people you want to work with. You gotta know who you're working with and
So
who
true.
they're connected to. Because
So true.
whatever they're connected to, you're connected to.
Right.
So don't just be so quick to jump and work with people just because their status or, you know, oh, they have this many followers
That's what
or
I'm saying.
they're so
It's not
popular.
worth it.
And it's like you don't even know. Like
Right.
a lot of people are like, oh, they do bad business. They're not really good with this. They're not really good
Mhm.
with that. But you don't know that. But
Right.
you're in the studio with them and you videotape them like, this is so dope.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, they already know the deal.
Or you know such and such. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you know them too? Like, oh. Then they automatically think you're like them because you're connected to them.
Exactly.
So, that's not cool.
That's why it's good. Because sometimes you don't even know. You don't know what they're like. You know, what people are talking about, you know,
Yeah.
about this person. You don't even know.
Right.
So that's why you got to do your own due diligence. Here I go with the little speech thing each week. Gene Davis says, that is why...
Daniels.
Oh, Daniels, wow. That is why you have to be strong-minded and love yourself. Stay away, what? Stop away saying,
I think stay away.
stay away saying I got or need someone. I'm trying to read it, but I can't.
This can cause us to not receive all that is a treasure for us. Stop looking at the outward look with the person. Outward look with the person. Maybe within that person, so you won't draw just anyone. Seek God; He will give you signs.
Okay, so she's saying don't look on the exterior.
Right.
And don't look at what's out, like in front of you,
Right.
just because it looks great
That's
doesn't mean
true.
it's always.
That can be
gold.
deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to look
Like
inside
my
the
grandma
heart.
says, everything that glitter ain't gold, baby.
That's true.
It's
Everything ain't greener on the other side.
not.
Does that count too?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good one. But those are all important
true.
points, you know. And relationships are so important because it could, like I said, it can make or break you. And sometimes we put so much emphasis on our relationships.
Yeah.
And
Build that relationship with yourself. Is the best advice I could give tonight.
mm-hmm.
Love yourself. Honor yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Respect your own boundaries and core, your core values and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Before you expect other people, because if you can't even respect yourself and love yourself, like how can someone else? You know what I mean?
Exactly. You can't be
Step
mad
in.
at anyone stepping
Exactly.
on your boundaries if you are allowing them to.
Exactly.
Or if you're not even honoring your own boundaries by going over them.
So true.
So that is so true.
So we hope this was helpful to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We thank you guys for tuning in. We missed some of you guys last week.
We
But
missed
you
all of
guys-
you last week.
It was a rough one last week.
And my sister says, I know I get on my own nerves.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to learn how to deal with our own selves sometimes.
Yes.
First, But we thank you guys for tuning in. Hope this seemed to be like a good one that you guys enjoyed. Or related to and connected with. We have some more awesome topics, and if you guys come up with something, let us know.
Yeah.
You guys are following us, so obviously you can DM us, you can message us, and yeah, man, we're just trying to be better. We're trying to grow every day, and we hope you guys are trying to do the same thing. Next week, you want to talk about what we're going to talk about next week?
It was how to end a toxic relationship. So we want to go in detail of how to end these relationships. Since now we're talking about the 5 signs to know when to end a relationship, like these are signs to think about. But now we're going to talk about how, like some ways you could approach people and certain tips on what to say in certain situations, and we'll have different scenarios, and we'll go through those, and like maybe we'll act one out, and like so we can just. I think that's a huge thing for all of us. Even for myself, it was hard for me to be able to approach someone and tell them, knowing that I've known them for a few years, or we built a relationship with working together on some capacity, and then have to tell them something as far as like this relationship is not going to last that long.
And then some relationships you don't say anything.
Yeah, and some you don't. So we're going to talk about all those different ways and which one, how to do it.
Right, we're not even going to get into it now because we'll start going over it now, and that's, we ain't going to have nothing to talk about next week. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's another edition of Mission Mindset with myself, Quan Grant, and Marisol. Yes, our 10th one, man. So thank you guys for riding with us. Invite more people. Keep spreading the word.
Yes.
And keep liking and sharing and reposting. Somebody need to hear these words.
Exactly.
Right? So don't be selfish. You guys enjoy it. Someone else need to hear it.
Exactly.
All right?
Thank you.
Love you guys. Peace out.
Bye.